Hi, I'm Darlene Carman.
And I'm Doug Carman.
Welcome to the show. Things have changed since 2006 when we first did a show with Arts Council Silicon Valley. They are now called Silicon Valley Creates. The Artist Fellowship Awards are now Artist Laureate Awards, celebrating 25 years recognizing and supporting our region's finest professional artists. Josh Russell started as Communications Manager and is now Executive Vice President. Josh is here to let us in on some new innovations and opportunities. Hey, welcome to the show.
How are you? Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's start out with the Artist Laureates Awards. Can you give us a little bit of history and also maybe tell us some of the past honorees from the 25-year history?
Yeah, sure. So, so this is the 25th year of the Artist Laureate Awards, and from Arts Council Silicon Valley to now Silicon Valley Creates, you know, we've always believed in how the important role that artists play in the community, sort of a fuel for the community. So we've recognized 148 artists over the course of the 25 years with cash prizes. And what's important about the cash prizes is it's not specific to, you know, here's money, you have to buy paint with it. You know, it's here's money, be an artist, live as an artist, and so that's really important. And you know, we've recognized visual artists and theater artists and media artists and photographers and anyway, so across the board. But you know, and from established legacy laureates in the past, like Roy and PJ Hirabayashi, founders of San Jose Taiko, incredible organization, to even some emerging artists like Jeffrey Lowe, who's a playwright and just doing some incredible work, and Robert Ragazza, who's a photographer, and then others like Sally Ashton, who is recently Poet Laureate. So it's been an incredible list of organizations, and in fact, we this year launched a new website called svlaureates.org that essentially is a database of all of the 148 laureates in our history.
Wow. Well, actually, we have some pictures. Let's see some pictures, and you can tell us who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
talent.
And so would love to tell you a little bit about this year's class of laureates, so the 25th anniversary class. And start with the legacy laureate, Maithili Kumar, who is the founder of Abhinaya Dance Company. And Maithili actually was a choreographer laureate back in, I think, 1986. And so kind of a testament to her career that she's now, you know, grown into the legacy laureate. And her daughter, Rasika, was a laureate as well. And she's the founder of Abhinaya Dance Company, celebrating its 35th year. Indian dance, incredible organization. So she's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, Victoria May, on the wall laureate, and so she is a visual artist and does a lot around using some sort of found objects in her art. So she's incredible. Stephanie Metz is one of my favorite artists, and she does a lot around, she's a visual artist with doing stuff with wool, and you know, we'll just take a look at this, for example, is her work, and you know, she's an incredible artist there. And David Popoliski is another onstage laureate, and he's a choreographer and dancer. Aaron Langton is a musician and a Grammy winner in the past, so he's fantastic. And then this year, for the first time, we had two co-emerging artist laureates. And so Roberto Romo is a visual artist and a graduate of the Multicultural Leadership Institute, Mali program. Great guy. And then Ken Savage is our other emerging artist.
Wow.
And is a recent graduate of San Jose State, theater, director, producer. Just an incredible lineup, and really kind of a showcase of the kinds of artists that are working in Silicon Valley.
And we'll be seeing some of their works as we go along, perhaps not today, but I mean, we'll be seeing some in the different fields that they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Silicon Valley Creates is starting a new program, a grant program. What is it about? And
what's the name?
Yeah, sure. So, so that's part of my role this year. Kind of is to help build the capacity of our entire cultural ecosystem. And so, so I get kind of the fun job of coming up with some new and exciting ways to do that. And so we're introducing a new concept that we're calling product.relevance. And the whole idea is, we believe that that there are lots of different, you can have the best marketing strategies in the world, but if your creative product doesn't resonate with the audience, then there's a fundamental disconnect. So, so we're looking at, and we've heard that there's this challenge of connecting products and growing audiences among the sort of young corporate cube dwellers, right? The people that work in Silicon Valley in the towers that sort of nobody can get to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So that's right. So
do
so
you
we're
connect some? Is this a connection with like angel investors?
yeah, sort of. We're kind of playing that role, and so what we've done is we've invited kind of live experiences, ideas for experiences that arts organizations and creative entrepreneurs and artists, etc., feel like might resonate and connect with this young under 40 cube dweller audience. And so we've taken submissions, 140 characters, so essentially tweet us your idea. So we got 90 ideas.
Wow.
And we whittled it down to 33 that are going to be presented to 11 coaches. Okay, so coaches, so we have 11 coaches that are going to work with 3 different organizations, 3 different ideas, and sort of take the ideas and kind of mold it.
They have to pitch it.
They have to
live?
pitch it to
Live?
They have to pitch it to the coaches, and then the coaches each pick one of the 3 ideas that will actually move into a live presentation round in front of a panel of 10 of these corporate cube dwellers. So we've got someone from Apple and
some major
NetApp and
corporations.
Xilinx and Adobe, and then the top 5 ideas will get $10,000 each on the spot.
So they're not necessarily, they're not pitching them to investors. They're actually pitching to corporate organizations.
They're pitching it to people, so they're
yeah.
pitching it to potential audiences of who they're trying to go
I
after.
see.
Yeah, so
that's great.
So in addition to getting money, they actually get some insight from this sort of
Coaching.
unknown audience that they're trying to engage.
Did you come up with this program, or a whole bunch of you came up
Well,
with this program?
yeah, I mean, it was an evolution of a lot of ideas along the way. But I sort of put it forward as, let's try it and see what works, right?
Sure.
Since Silicon Valley is all about experimentation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're experimenting with a new grants concept.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Well, you've described how theater arts have actually helped you, direct you since high school into a positive direction. So you didn't go like some of your friends, perhaps. So what do you think it is about art that helps transform behavior?
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about my own experience. So I went to a really small private school, and everyone did theater, everyone did arts. It was just sort of built into the curriculum, and really a lot about having lots of different experiences, right? So ceramics and wood shop and theater and music and across the board, right? So it was just sort of ingrained in me. There were 10 people in my graduating 8th grade class, and I went from there to a public high school and was terrified for an entire year.
Culture shock.
So, so I tried to hide behind my mullet, which, kind of in the shadows. And my mom basically continued to hound me. You've got to do some extracurricular, you got to do. I tried out for the basketball team, and, when you can't jump and you don't have a jump shot and you're not fast and you can't play defense, it's hard to make the team. So, so I ended up trying out for the play the beginning of my sophomore year in high school, and that became a life transformation.
Do you remember what the play was?
Of course I do, yes. It was, well, I remember my role in it. His name was Sir Hartley Worthit, and I died at the end of the first act. It was very dramatic, but it was a legitimate part, and it was sort of the first time, especially in this context of high school, where you're trying to navigate. I knew 3 people going into school, but it was just confidence-wise, it was transformational for me, and really sort of set the entire course of my life in that moment. And so friends, and I went to college as a theater major initially and ended up minoring in it. Obviously, I chose a career in the arts, and so it was a absolutely pivotal time in my life.
Well, going back to the high school, how much instruction did they give you? I mean, it's a big subject, you know, that you carried on in college. But I mean, what happened in the high school level? How far did they take this idea of training you for theater arts?
Yeah, well, you know, with high school, and a
Yeah.
lot of it is it's your choice, right? So I chose theater. I mean, really,
Yeah.
I wanted to get my mom off my back, so I accepted theater. But you know, in the end, obviously, grew a passion for it. But you know, I think when you're talking about high school kids, everything is about choice, right? So
Yeah.
so you know, obviously, you know, you don't choose to take English or you don't choose to take math, but you know,
So you just kind of dove in.
I dove in. Yeah, I auditioned with I'll audition so that she'll stop bugging me about it, and then I got a part, and then it was like, oh,
This is neat.
this is actually pretty cool, yeah, and I got a part, and this is fun, and you meet girls in theater. Who knew, you know? So anyway, it was an incredible experience for me, and
So how do you think that would help change behavior in somebody that maybe is going down the wrong path? What would working in theater or another type of art, what do you think that happens there?
So
Is it
first of all,
confidence?
yeah. So I mean, there's so many things, right? Confidence is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I think especially for teens,
Uh-huh.
that you know, a lot of teens are just angry, right? I mean, in different ways, right?
Sure.
Angsty, and so all different forms of arts, visual arts. I mean, it's a form of creative expression, right? And it's a way to sort of take your angst and maybe turn it into something positive, or to get it out instead of keeping it in. And I think all of the arts does that in an incredible way. It's a way to again, to sort of build relationships and connections, and broaden your networks. Confidence is a huge one also.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of kids that maybe traditional school settings don't quite fit, it's I think an important way to be connected to school and to sort of to get engaged in a school setting.
Well, you would probably say that the arts kind of helps build your innovative thinking process, getting it early.
Yeah.
So you got a good foundation by that.
I
That's
did.
probably the best thing
I
that
did.
happened to you
But if-
get in your primary years.
Yeah, if
Where
I
you
didn't
think
have
a little bit more creatively than the average student.
right, and if I didn't have that sort of arts exposure as a kid, I probably wouldn't have felt even comfortable enough to audition in high school. And so it's so critical to have that, you know, that experience. And whether it's in school, there are some schools that still have arts education, but there are also community organizations that are delivering arts experiences.
That's
I mean,
true.
there are so many ways that you can expose your children to the
Yeah,
arts.
well, this is a question I have. Yeah, we know that the arts in the public schools have diminished immensely from what they used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Silicon Valley Creates, is that working in any way to try to fill that void and find other venues for kids?
Yeah. So so Silicon Valley Creates, arts education, arts exposure is a really important part of what we're trying to do in terms of enabling more access. And so we helped launch the School of Arts and Culture at the Mexican Heritage Plaza as a standalone 501c3 that's providing exposure, sort of broad exposure, and then deep, ongoing experiences. We partner with Adobe on creative expression for teens, especially at-risk teens. And we're doing digital storytelling with the kids in the Boys Ranch and Juvenile Hall and after-school sites, et cetera. We also launched another sort of directory on our Artsopolis platform, which is the same platform that the Laureate program was built on. That's called artsedconnect.org, which is really a tool for teachers to connect their students with arts education experiences. And it's a database, and we've secured funding. We've had $200,000 that teachers can apply for micro grants through the site. And so the idea of teachers connecting it directly for their students.
Well, with all the work you're doing promoting arts and trying to expand the arts, Is there any venue now that you're looking into yourself to expand your creative?
Even though I work in
soul?
a creative field, I need my own outlets for creative
Of course
expression.
you do.
So, so in addition to singing karaoke as much as I can and playing the ukulele badly, so I'm actually, I've written and am publishing a children's book.
Oh,
And
how
so,
nice.
so I'll tell you a little bit about the context of it, because
Okay.
it's kind of a fun story. So, so I've got 2 kids, and I have a daughter who's 10 and a son who's 6. But growing up with them, bath time has always been a really important part of the connection that we've had, right? So
The bonding
the
process.
bonding time, right? And the kids have always asked me to tell them stories, right?
course,
Always. So in the
sure.
car, Dad, tell us a story.
Yeah.
And it has to have a bad guy in it, and it's got to have no book, and it's got to be different. So, so I've gone through like the traditional sort of fairy tales, and then when they were bored with those, I started retelling 80s movies, right? And then I got stuck. I couldn't come up with new ideas until we watched the movie The Princess Bride, right? With Andre the Giant, and it reminded me. Oh man, I used to be a huge wrestling fan. WWF in the 80s and early 90s.
When you were young.
Me too.
Yes. And so I thought, oh my gosh, there are bad guys, there are good guys, there are
Yep.
storylines. So I started making up stories with all the different wrestlers.
Huh.
And then the kids, especially my son Ryan, wanted to know more about them, and he wanted to see pictures of them, and he he became an 80s wrestling fan like me. Okay, so I went on eBay, right, as many parents do, and I bought a lot of the old wrestlers. Okay, and it came in the mail, and I opened it up, and it was like my childhood reborn. And so I brought a couple just to show you.
We heard you had something
Yeah, right.
exciting
So-
you were going to show us.
So I opened this box,
We
right?
got to see this.
Oh, of course.
Let me tell you, brother, Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
Oh,
Hogan
yeah, the Hulk-
was
All-time,
number one.
Well-
favorite. So we get Hulk Hogan,
Hogan.
snap into a Slim Jim, Macho Man, right? Darlene, I think you're a Macho Man
Oh,
fan.
yes.
Who
Oh, she
isn't?
was a big
Elizabeth.
one.
R.I.P. Macho Man. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, right? So this
son
guy,
loved him.
yeah, my friends and I used to do Jimmy Superfly Snuka moves in our dorm room in college.
I
And
like my view.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
Yes,
who
yes.
I literally just tweeted with back and forth within the last year or so. So and then the guy who started it all, long-haired Andre the Giant,
Yeah, the long hair, definitely.
right? So,
Wow. Oh, he was
and in
awesome.
terms of
It's a lot
artwork,
bigger than that, too.
he still towers over.
All the rest of them.
He's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
a lot bigger than
We'll
him,
put him
but
like Hogan over here. Hogan's lonely.
yeah. So
Oops.
he doesn't really
He's
stand
so
up very
big,
well.
he
But
can't stand
my
up.
son and I actually drew the singlet on Andre the Giant because he was originally a good guy. So Ryan wanted him as a bad guy. So anyway, so we're sort of reliving these.
He's tired.
Yeah,
Put him down. You let him sleep.
you can let him sleep.
Andre's
So it's kind
done
of
with it.
reliving my favorite toys as a kid
Yeah.
through the eyes of my son.
Yeah.
And came up with this idea around sort of re-experiencing this, in a bath time setting. And so we'd play with these guys in the bath.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, so I
Fun.
wrote this book called Little Boy Soup, and the idea is that boys get all stinky and dirty and don't want to take a bath, and so using some of the toys from my childhood as a strategy to distract him and sort
Get
of
him into the
engage
bath.
in some
Yeah,
bath
yeah.
time fun. And so I wrote the story. It's a rhyming book, kind of preschool age, really meant to read to the kid in the bath.
When's it coming out?
So it's coming out early 2016.
Okay.
And I was sharing it. I was at a book event, kind of sharing the concept with this random guy I was standing next to,
Yeah.
who ended up being the CEO of a publishing company called Balcony 7.
How lucky
What
is
bad
that?
luck is that?
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Which is why I say always talk to strangers, and I tell my kids the same thing.
wow.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so I told him about the
Lucky.
concept. Yeah, and he said, send it to me. I'd love to read it. So
Oh,
I sent it to him, and then crickets for 8 months, and then all of a sudden I get an email, and he said, "I'm interested in publishing. Let's talk." And so then I found an illustrator, Molly Hillman. So she owns this company called The Eclectic Illustrator, and we're in the process of illustrating now. And in fact, I think it's okay. I'm gonna show just a preview of the little boy in Little Boy Soup. That's right. So
illustrated
if we
by
pull it up, but it's Molly Hillman.
Can we have the picture?
Yeah, if we have the picture. And as they're pulling it up, I'll tell you the
there it is.
Yeah, there it is. So there's the little boy, and
cute,
kind of fashioned after my son Ryan. And what's fun is, when there are a lot of children's books out there, right? Yeah. And what's fun is we sort of did a scan of what's out there and said, from an illustration standpoint, what can we do that at least make it stand out a little bit? And so we decided to go with cut paper, which is not very common in a lot of children's books.
Collage.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, but I mean, literally like cutting. So the physical art of cutting paper and putting it together, to create that with acrylic and sort of paint layered on top of it. And so we've invented some toys in the book, and she's designing those. And yeah. So really, over the next couple months, it's finishing the book.
Now, how do you work with her? Do you work email? Do you get together? And
yeah, we get together. So the first meeting, we literally got together and just laid out all these toys. Especially Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake.
Is she a fan too?
Her brother was a fan. I think she's an appreciator.
She's starting to appreciate it now.
I mean, and how can you not appreciate Hulk Hogan, right? The guy's still wrestling. And I took my son to WrestleMania 31, by the way, this year, and Hulk Hogan was there. It was unbelievable. And Ryan and I both at the same time. It's Hulk Hogan.
You got to go again when the book comes out.
Yes.
You have to go again.
Absolutely.
Get an autograph. Go meet him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you never know where that'll go.
Yeah. Right. So So anyway, so we've gone a little bit back and forth and over email, but really the face-to-face is kind of the co-creation process and the brainstorming, and how do you take the idea of a ninja hiding in his hair, you know what I mean, and how do we kind of make that come to life? So it's been a really fun, and I picked her to work with especially because of how excited she was about the concept and really this process of kind of collaborating and co-creating.
Oh, I think it's great. Now tell us a little bit about the publisher.
Yeah, so Balcony 7 is the name, and it's the number 7. Okay. And again, they're in Southern California. Okay. They're, in context of publishers, they're relatively new.
Good.
But they're really targeting sort of special niches and artists, and they're a very author-friendly publisher. And so, it has not felt like kind of the, iron fist hammering down, but much, again, just like Molly, a real sort of partnership, co-creation.
And they don't try to interfere too much in your creative process.
No, but they do push back, and in the spirit of trying to make the product better.
So they do give you some advice, and
so yeah, and they'll challenge me to sort of rework sections and think about how to make this a little bit more fun and playful, and
wow.
So they've been a great partner
now,
too.
You're going to come up with another book, right? I mean, once you get the hang of this thing and so forth.
I do seem to enjoy writing. Yeah, and so working on a potentially a little girl version.
Sure.
But yeah, and lots of other ideas floating out there.
Do you like Rousey, Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, she was at WrestleMania 31 also.
Oh,
special appearance with The Rock.
Oh, we're big
I'm telling you, it all comes back to wrestling.
Yes.
That's
wow.
the theme.
Well, speaking of children, what does Silicon Valley create? Do they have any special programs working on that are specifically designed for children? I know we talked a little bit about it earlier.
We did, yeah. We talked about teens. We talked about, so Silicon Valley Creates is the sort of co-founder, I guess, and funder of ArtSpark, which is in partnership
yes.
with Symphony Silicon Valley,
Yes.
with the idea of children 3rd through 6th grade growing up with this menu of professional arts experiences, live experiences. And so,
That's been
so
around
3rd
for a
graders,
while.
it has been around for a while. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th year. And we were the initial and continue to be the main funders of it, and sort of helped create the program, and that the symphony has delivered. And so 30,000 kids a year. It's been incredible. Buses all paid for. So it's all about access and sort of sparking an excitement about the arts in our youth.
So, but you know, you guys are going to have more things coming up. You probably have all kinds of ideas. They've been around for what, 30 years? The Silicon Valley Creates, and now I'm sure that you've got all kinds of ideas coming up in the future, and you're helping out plan a lot of these and make them work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess we can't fish for more right now,
Well,
but you know, we're about out of time, but
If we had more time, you could fish for more. How about that?
well, when you have the book out, I sure would like to read it. And you said, again, it was like early next year?
Yeah, early 2016, yeah. Yeah.
Ah, well,
in the spring.
yeah.
It's fun, yeah. Maybe I can get a testimonial from you that we can publish.
Maybe so. I just want to thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
I think this is very exciting. I didn't know this about you. I'm very excited to hear that. And so I just want to thank everybody out there for watching the show and doing the art and working to help art blossom in our community. That's a wonderful thing. Please keep it up. Thanks for watching the show. Please watch again.